Do this in the same format. We'll do a minute for introductions and 2 minutes per question and your little 10-second warning. So I'll turn it over to Becky.
All right. Thank you, ladies, for attending tonight and being willing to speak with us. Okay, we will start out with Stephanie tonight. So Stephanie, can you please provide an introduction? Tell us about yourself, your background, your education, and why you are running for village president.
Sure. First of all, thank you to the Chamber for organizing this and sponsoring this event. Thank you to the community for being here. And thank you to all the people behind the scenes recording this and doing whatever they need to do. We really appreciate it. My name is Stephanie Brassington. Our family moved here in 1969. My parents owned a small business in McFarland for 40 years. I graduated from high school here. My 2 kids graduated from high school here. I have 6 grandchildren, 5 of which are in the school district right now. I am the manager of Generations Title Company. I manage 2 offices. I manage employees throughout the entire state. I work with developers, builders, contractors, lenders, real estate agents. I monitor residential building as well as multi-million-dollar commercial transactions. My love for our community runs deep. My commitment to McFarland comes from a multi-generational perspective. I have had the privilege to serve on the village board for the past 10 years. I have also been on the Finance Committee, DEI, Plan Commission, the CDA, Public Safety, Senior Outreach, Public Utilities, Landmarks, and Communications and Technology. I have shown my dedication to my community and my passion to the unique character and values of our village. I am running for village president because I believe that I have the leadership skills to ensure McFarland grows sustainably while preserving what makes our home special. I will foster fiscal responsibility. I want first-time home buyers to call McFarland home. I want our working families and our senior community to be able to live here without fear of unnecessary spending. Together, we need to create opportunities to develop mixed-use business and commercial spaces where both our residents and our businesses can thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. Carolyn?
Okay. Thank you so much, Katie and Becky, and to the Chamber for sponsoring. Thank you all for being here. It's really fun. And thank you, Trustee Brassington, for running. I really appreciate it, and for all the people who have their names on the ballot. My name is Carolyn Cloud. I'm currently your village president. I've lived in the village of McFarland since 2005. We came to McFarland for the schools. We were looking for safer, more supportive schools for our kids, and we were not disappointed. Our very first day at Indian Mound Middle School, Dr. Felker was the principal, and she said she was going to love our kids into a great year. And at that moment, we knew that we were in the right place. My background, I was a village trustee from 2017 through 2019 and 2020 to 2021, and I have been village president for the past 4 years. I have a master's degree in public affairs from the UW-Madison, and I currently work for Dane County running the business office at the Alliant Energy Center. I have a strong background in local government and have worked with all of our community partners, the Madison Metropolitan Sewerage District, the Department of Transportation, Department of Natural Resources on our areas of interest. It's my job to look out for the village as a whole as village president and to make the best possible decisions for the village as a whole. I don't have the luxury of hyper-focusing on one single topic or making sure that I only look at how one piece fits into the puzzle. I have done everything that I can do to make this room as big, as inclusive, and as welcoming for as many people as possible. And what we've seen over the last 4 years is more people in these rooms expressing their opinion than you have. So I'd like to be village president to continue the work that we've done, to continue the connections that we've made with our partners, and to continue to have the conversations in these rooms, the hard conversations that we need to have to figure out what our community is going to do next and where our community is going to grow next.
Thank you. Okay, and I will start with question 1 then, and we are going to start with you, Carolyn, so you can keep it going. What is your long-term vision for the village, and how do you plan to achieve it?
Thank you. My long-term vision is that we work together as a community on the things that we need as a community. Many of the things that we do in local government are tough. They take a long time. They're expensive sometimes. They don't always make sense. They have a lot of details. In the village, we have a history of, instead of working together and collaborating on issues that are really, really important and sitting down and talking about them and figuring out the way we're going to go forward, on fighting. We did it about the library, and we put in place, after the library, the most restrictive referendum requirement in the state of Wisconsin for the beautiful community building space that we have. And now as we talk in these rooms and we talk about future projects and we talk about where we're going to go, we talk about how much this community loves the library. Happened with the middle school, it's happened with other things that we need to do, and they're hard and they're expensive and they don't always make sense. And we need to work together to figure out the ways that we are going to do things. We need to come out for the issues that are really important to us and speak up for them. And we need to understand as a group how those issues fit together for the long-term financial picture of the village and for the long-term sustainability of the village. We had lots of people come out and talk to us about TID 7. We had lots of people come out and talk to us about the blight. And when we passed the budget, this room was empty. But those types of decisions heavily impact what the budget ends up looking like and what we're able to do in the future. And if we have our conversations in isolation and we don't look at how all of the things that we need to do in the village work together and look together, we won't get to the places that we need to be. And those conversations are tough. And we've opened up the room. I've helped to open up the room to get more people in and set up more conversations. And what I learned in the last year is that we need to continue to open the door and continue to set the stage for how those conversations will happen. Not in ways where people are just standing up, giving a public comment, and we're sitting here and listening, and then we discuss, but in ways where we can all really discuss and come to a common future. Because only in that way, where we're looking at the big picture and how all of the things work together, will we be able to move forward as the community that we want to be, and will we really be the community that we are. There are good, kind, caring people in this community. Every single person in this room is. Both of us are. Katie and Becky are. But we need to find ways to work together, to use our voices, to use our ideas together.
Thank you. Stephanie?
Yes, as a village board, we recognize that communication, planning, and budgeting needs to be open and transparent. While we have made progress in some of this area, I believe that we need to continue to look for opportunities to engage the community. Silence can sometimes be perceived as approval or agreement. I think silence means that we need to look for alternative methods to communicate with the community. I would like to review our policies for public comments, look for ways to provide spaces for back and forth dialogue, and review how our committees are structured to make sure that we haven't unintentionally alienated input from our community. We need to build trust with our community. We need to show as village leaders that we can be trusted to make fiscally responsible choices. By engaging our community early on in the conversations, slowing down our process to make responsible, well thought out decisions, and thoroughly understand the full impact of our decisions, not only from a municipal point of view, but also the overall impact on our community. The long-term vision for our village needs to focus on balancing growth while maintaining our community's character. Growth needs to happen. Our housing studies indicate that we need housing at all levels. Our school district has indicated low enrollment rates, and we all know that McFarland could benefit with an active business and commercial opportunities. We need to encourage developments that offer a variety of housing opportunities that meet the diverse needs of our residents, from young families to retirees, to ensure healthy, growing population. We also need to create opportunities that combine housing with commercial and retail spaces to create more of a live, work, play type of environment.
Thank you. Okay, and Stephanie, you'll continue with the next question. What will you do to build a positive, collaborative work environment among the village board and other local leaders?
By fostering an atmosphere where communication is open and collaborative is prioritized, and respect is mutual. A positive work environment can be created that benefits the entire village board and the community as a whole. Our number one priority is to create shared vision between the entire village board, our administrator, our department heads, and our staff. We all work for our residents, and we should never lose touch with that. We need to work collaboratively with the Chamber of Commerce and business leaders in our community to not only review success stories, but also look for opportunities for improvement to connect and grow our business community. We need to improve our collaborative efforts with the school district to encourage a shared vision of fiscal responsibility and long-term financial impacts to our residents. Encouraging collaboration with all of our residents is essential for fostering a sense of community and ensuring that everyone feels valued and heard. Prioritizing this as a village board goal will help us to create an inclusive environment where every voice matters.
Thank you. Carolyn?
This is an issue that I've worked on since I joined the board. I don't think that the board is always going to have the exact same vision. We shouldn't. We're each individual people representing individual things. But we are elected to work together as a team to bring our unique perspectives, our unique interests, and the facets of the community that we know best to bring to our work. Building a positive and collaborative environment among board members is keeping the lines of communication open and finding ways to continue to work even when we don't agree. Some of our best work gets done in the space of not agreeing, as long as we don't devolve into arguing and division. In addition, we need to work with the communities that surround us. Before I was village president, we were in a feud with the city of Madison. We're now working with the city of Madison and have regular communication with the mayor's office. We have a deputy mayor assigned to work with the village of McFarland. We work with the town of Dunn on a regular basis. We've just recently put forth in a joint meeting a proposal for a boundary agreement. We've been working with Monona and Stoughton and discussing options where we can collaborate, discussing options for transit. We have major road projects that are coming through the village. We have to work with the DOT for about the next 5 years on huge projects that are going to impact us every single day. And I've been building those relationships. I spent some time at a chief executives meeting in 2021 talking to the Secretary of the Department of Transportation about some of the needs of local municipalities. And as a result, when we had an issue last week with our project, the regional director reached out and we had a conversation, and we're working through some of the issues that we need to work through. I've also worked with our state level leaders, wanted to make sure that we made relationships with our local representatives and senators. So as we had 2 new senators and 2 new representatives in our community, I invited them to our community, make sure they met at the McFarland House Cafe, had them come here and hold a budget listening session so that they could get to know us.
Thank you. Okay, question 3. What are your top 3 priorities if elected into this position? Carolyn?
Sure. My top 3 priorities start with staff development and support. McFarland has grown by over 800 people since I joined the village board in 2017. We are growing and we are changing, and we have significant demands on our staff that have grown and changed in the time that we've been here. The expectations of what they do and how they perform on our behalf have changed in real time as we've worked through situations. And we need to grow and support our staff so that we have strong department heads who can help lead us through the things that we need to do as a community. We talk a lot about improved communications, and that'll be my second item, but it's really about helping our staff. We have grown and changed our communications a lot in the last 4 years, and still there are people at every meeting on every topic who haven't heard about the thing that we're talking about. That's going to ever evolve. We have a community of 9,000 people, and some of those people will move out today and some other people will move in. and we will have to grow and change the way we do those communications through that time. We also need to continue to improve our budgeting and capital planning. We've made a lot of changes on those things in the last 4 years as well. We've extended our capital planning out a full 5 years instead of 4 years as we had them before, with another 5 years of capital planning that is there. That is there so that we can start to see what projects are on the horizon. I heard someone speak about road projects. When I was first on the board, we couldn't tell what road project was next or why we were doing it or what was going to happen with that $500,000 that was in the budget. We now have a 10-year road plan, and you can look and see which roads are coming up next. We, for the first time 2 years ago, had a 10-year staffing plan so that we can look at where we are thinking that we need to go with staffing, and we can think about how decisions that we make in 2025 impact things that we might need in 2029 because we can see them. And in 2023, for the first time, while we're not able to do it in 2024, we had a 5-year operating forecast. It was the first time we had done it in the history of the village. We were not able to do it again in 2024. We do now have a finance director, and we'll be able to do that again in 2025. That long-range planning will help us to move forward.
Thank you. And Stephanie, top 3 priorities if elected.
Okay, number 1, fiscal responsibility. Ensure taxpayer dollars are used efficiently, balancing immediate needs with long-term financial stability. Residents need to feel that they are getting good value for their tax dollars. 2, rebuilding trust in village government. Government should be transparent with leadership that listens. We need to actively engage the voices of our residents to help guide our decisions. By engaging with the community, we can ensure that our policies reflect the collective needs and wants of those we have been elected to serve. Number 3, community development planning. Community development should celebrate the unique character and values of our village, foster sustainable growth while preserving what makes our home special. We must strive to create a supportive environment that encourages both new and existing businesses to thrive. We need to attract diverse businesses that align with our community values. We must balance the needs of our businesses with the well-being of our residents. This type of growth will contribute to long-term financial stability and enhance the quality of life for all of us.
Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, question 4. The village has a high percentage of tax base in residential and a low percentage in manufacturing and other similar types of business types relative to other cities and villages within Dane County. What is the best way for our village to diversify its tax base and attract more businesses?
Sure. The village needs to create an environment conducive to business growth and development. At the same time, we need to balance the needs and wants of our community. We can and we should use tax incentives to make the village more appealing to businesses by reducing their upfront costs. However, we should create industrial parks and business districts. We need to be strategic with the placement of these parks and districts as to not disrupt the safety or quality of life for our residents now and in the future. Even with thoughtful planning, sometimes the reality is that things don't always go as expected. Replanning can be very frustrating, but it's often part of the process. Someone much wiser than me taught us all last fall that plans change. The village could collaborate with the chamber and business leaders to create a targeting marketing campaign that highlights the advantages of locating a business in the village. We also need to ensure that the village offers amenities that attract businesses such as parks, recreation facilities, cultural activities. A vibrant, attractive community can help retain talent and attract business. Thank you.
Thank you. And Carolyn.
As a community, we really need to wrestle with this question. We have talked in this room over and over and over again about how we wanted to have more manufacturing and more business in our community. And as a community, we have shouted down more manufacturing and more business in our community over and over and over again. We will not be able to do both of those things at the same time. It is impossible. That's very hard. So we have to decide, if we want to even have this conversation. Because for 150 years, McFarland has decided not to have this conversation. And we have not allowed manufacturing in our community. And if we don't want to allow manufacturing in our community, it's okay. But we should stop talking about it like it's a possibility. I went to the library a couple weeks ago and I listened to Ron Larson talk about what he called the 4 turning points in McFarland history. And I was like, okay, what's he going to say? And he had 4 things: the railroad, the resort community, the tank farms, and the construction of Highway 51, all of which were about economic development, all of which were major changes, and all of which required compromises in our community. The people who sit up here can make whatever choice this community wants about manufacturing and development, but we shouldn't waste our time talking about it if we won't do it. And we have a company in our community who has bought some land in our community, and we didn't even allow the conversation. I don't know what their proposal was. We voted down a tax increment finance district. We did not talk about the project. And I hope that this community can come to a place where we can honestly talk about what we actually want and understand that we can't have both no manufacturing and a manufacturing tax base at the same time.
Thank you. Okay, question 5. We'll start with Carolyn. In your role as president, how would you ensure that the village is welcoming and inclusive for all residents?
Sure. As the village president, me or anyone else, I'm one person. And I'm the leader of this community at this time, and leadership can set the tone. I can provide support. I can provide my presence at activities, but I am not the whole community. Most of the interactions that our community will have with the village, our community will have with staff. They'll have with the police officer that they go to for help, the paramedic or firefighter who arrives to assist with a difficult situation, a public works employee who comes to fix a trash can lid or repair a water main break, a senior outreach caseworker who gets to know their parent, grandparent, or themselves, a library employee who helps a resident find a special book or answer a complicated question, communication staff member who records a meeting or makes a timely Facebook post, or a poll worker who helps through a complicated voter registration process or manages the long lines in a way that works. Those actions, the actions of all of our staff, are what makes the village. They're what our residents see as the village. And the role of the board, as led by the village president, is to support our staff with the resources that they need to be the face of the village and to do the work of the village, not to do the work themselves. And that work, the work of all of our staff every single day, is what makes our community welcoming and inclusive to all.
Thank you. Stephanie.
Yes. As president, my approach to ensuring the village is welcoming and inclusive for all residents would focus on creating a culture of respect, understanding, and active engagement. 10 years ago, when I first decided to run for village board as a write-in candidate, my main focus was an inclusive park for families with special needs. My work as president of the community festival the past 4 years is also a testament to my dedication to an inclusive and welcoming community. A thriving McFarland is one where every voice matters and everyone is treated with respect. As your village president, I will continue to strive for a community that is welcoming to all, where diverse perspectives are not just heard, but they are valued.
Thank you. Okay, as a reminder, our closing remarks, we would like to keep to 1 minute. So please provide any closing remarks, final statements, or other topics of interest. Stephanie, we'll start with you.
Sure. Again, thank you to the Chamber for giving us this opportunity to share our thoughts on the community. Thank you to the community for being here. Over the course of my time on the village board and having the opportunity to literally share 100 cups of coffee and participate in amazing conversations with so many of you, I have very strong vision for a stronger, more connected community. one where every resident has the opportunity to thrive and where transparency, inclusivity, and progress are the pillars of my leadership. I want to thank each and every one of you for your dedication, for your time, and your voices throughout this entire process. No matter the outcome, what matters most is that we have come together to envision the future of our village. Let's continue to work together, support one another, build a community that we all are proud to call home. Thank you for the opportunity to serve.
Thank you. And Carolyn.
In my 4 years as village president, I have helped our village government to move into a new era. I've helped our staff to grow and develop, created a new personnel policy manual that helps to cover our staff. We've helped to develop our leadership and create increasing programs with our leadership, and we've created a new budgeting process. We've also made unprecedented connections with our other local communities that we need. McFarland isn't an island, and we can't work as an island. I'd like to be your village president, and I ask you for your vote to continue that work into the future. For all of us to come together, people in this room, people who are not in this room, and work for the best possible outcomes that we can have for the community. Many things, no matter how many years we serve on the village board or as village president, will get done. We're laying groundwork for the future. We've reimagined and redeveloped our relationship with the school district. We've reimagined and redeveloped our relationship with the city. And we can continue to reimagine and redevelop our relationships with each other to build an increasingly strong community. So I ask you for your vote on April 1st, and I ask you for your continued participation in this amazing community. Your voices matter, your efforts matter.
Thank you.
What a round of applause. Thank you very much. We will take another 5-minute break while we set up for our next candidates.